You're listening to WERALP Arlington 96.7 FM. Disclaimer. Please seek the advice of a financial or legal professional in any and all business ventures. This show does not constitute financial or legal advice. And now, the show that helps you go from wannapreneur to entrepreneur. The Swift Kick Show with Timothy D. Craggett. Entrepreneurial tips and advice with a kick. Here's Tim.
Welcome to the Swift Kick Show. I am Timothy D. Craigett. It is December 22nd, 2016. Man, a few days before Christmas. I can't wait. It's time for that first kick. So, as you know, the holiday season is when people love to spend money. I am not ashamed to say that I would love to spend a lot of money right now. But as a business person, that's just not fiscally responsible. But one of the things is that it's an advertising time. I mean, this is the time when big dollars are made because of big advertising budgets. And as a entrepreneur online, this is actually the sweet spot coming after Thanksgiving and going into January 5th. If you're getting your messaging out there for whatever your product or service is, this is the time. This is definitely the time. And so I thought that it would be really cool to talk about actually bringing attention to your products and services. So one of the things that we use in our business, and a lot of us online do, is we love to use Facebook advertising. It's one of the most accessible platforms out there. I mean, on the December 1st show, we had Chris talk about it. And what I thought would be really cool would be to have someone that does this as their business online. Anything that you could think of that someone might have an interest in that they would spend money on. This platform works extremely, extremely, extremely well. So without further ado, let me actually bring in the person that can speak a little bit better on this than I can. And we're going to take us a really, really quick break.
Did you know this is only the beginning? There's always more show just for you. We have exclusive interviews and bonus content to help you on your journey into entrepreneurship. Go to www.swiftkickshow.com to learn more.
And welcome back to the Swift Kick Show here on WERA 96.7 FM Arlington. I am Timothy D. Craigett, and I'm, as always, excited. For whatever reason, I'm always excited to have a guest. But this is a really, really close friend of mine, and I'm extremely excited to bring him to all of you. Let me tell you a little bit about him, and then I'll bring him into the show. He's an online entrepreneur who began his online venture and career in 2007 from his college room apartment. This is how serious this dude is. When he told me that, I was like, that's just amazing. I wasn't thinking about business in college. We'll get into that later. He's an expert in creating easy to follow social network ad plans that help businesses improve their bottom line. So people who are trying to learn the social stuff, he pretty much helps them just grow from within. He's been rated as one of the top experts to watch by Forbes magazine in May 2016. Also been featured in the November issue of Entrepreneur magazine, which is really cool. And he's been featured and interviewed in various podcasts and web shows around the topic of social advertising, including the hit podcast on iTunes, Entrepreneur on Fire, which that excited me. He's an international speaker on the subject matter of media buying and social engineering. He's one of my closest friends in this whole online space. I'm happy to bring in my good friend, David Schloss. Dave, what's going on, dude?
Appreciate you, Tim. I gotta love that intro. Gotta love it.
I try really hard on these things, man. So let's get right to it. So, pretty much Facebook is this amazing yet interesting animal that a lot of people don't know the inner workings of. So let's start in the beginning of the whole thing of how ads work. How does an ad work in the world of Facebook?
So essentially an ad in the world of Facebook is, let's put it this way, brand recognition, right? It's putting your product, your service, or even just you in front of the customer or even just the person you want have follow you,
Mhm.
right? So you put up something in front of these people, and they determine whether or not they want to engage, they want to comment, they want to like, share, you name it. But the point is that they're more aware of who you are and what you deliver to the world. And that's the
So
purpose of an ad.
so when we're looking at this whole thing of ads, if we're going back into the days of like newsprint and all that, and I'm making it sound like newspapers are extinct, but they still exist, people. The whole thing of placing an ad there is to attract someone. So are we saying that we're using ads on Facebook to attract people to what we want to offer or sell?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially that's what it is. So with the ad, let's say you're selling a t-shirt,
Okay.
right? The whole purpose is to attract the person that you want to eventually buy your shirt, right?
Right.
And for those who don't buy your shirt, what are they going to do? They're going to like it. They may even share it with their friends and family and say, hey, I really want this shirt. But they may never buy it, but someone else might because they saw it and it caught their attention. So that's sort of like the evolution of what an ad can do for you if you put it in front of the right people.
So let's talk about putting it in front of the right people. What exactly does that mean?
Right. So within Facebook, they give you these options of choosing what people are interested in, whether it's, I like basketball, I like baseball, you could use any sport. You can talk about TV shows that you like Game of Thrones or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And those are considered interests. You also have something called behaviors, which is the intent of the user, such as, they have 3 lines of credit, or they typically buy from retail stores, or they typically buy online, or they have a certain amount of income. So when you can mix and match both the interest and the behavior of somebody online, whether they're male, female, 18 years old, 44 years old, doesn't matter, you could end up finding that ideal individual who may or may not buy something from you.
So let's put this in the real world terms. Like, this is Christmas week. People are going out and they're stocking their stuffings. No, they're stuffing their stockings. And
Close
wow,
enough.
I'm literally I'm just excited because Christmas is coming. But they're out there, they're shopping, they're getting all their wares and stuff, and being prepared for Sunday. Now, we're as advertisers are trying to get their attention. What would we do if we were, let's go into real world terms. Let's say we were Toys R Us or something. What kind of thing would we do on Facebook in order to get them to come into our local Toys R Us and buy the latest, I don't know. Let's go with
Use a superhero character.
Okay, yeah, let's go to superhero characters. Let's say we want to get them the latest Spider-Man something or another. What would we do?
All right, so you have the latest Spider-Man toy coming out. It's going to be big here, and it's primarily towards kids who are probably 12 and under, right?
Right.
Most often than not, it's going to be 12 and under.
Well, I'm not 12.
Well, you're not because you're awesome. Most people that they're going to cater to are going to be, let's just say 12 and under, right?
Right.
And so on Facebook, what Toys R Us or any retailer that sells these types of toys should be doing is 2 things. Everyone wants to create a banner, but what you really should be doing is a video, right?
Okay.
A video in 2 ways. One, showcasing the product. If it's something that is an action figure, there's all sorts of commercials that we see to this day still with action figures, right? Kids playing with the action figures, making it do moves and all that crazy stuff.
Right.
The other video, though, should be the excitement that a kid has in getting that toy because it's Christmas season, right? And so you see those commercials, too, where it's like, the kid's begging his mom or his dad to go buy him the latest toy. That needs to be turned into an ad. Now, the difference is on Facebook, these ads have to be, and they should be, no more than 60 seconds. I'd prefer less than 30. Why? Attention span.
Okay.
Right? So with these ads, you're basically grabbing the attention of the parents who are going to buy this toy. And in the ad itself, it would say, hey, parents, don't disappoint your kids this year during Christmas. Get them the latest Spider-Man toy so they have the best Christmas of their lives. What is that going to do? 1, builds guilt. It builds, right? And what else does it do? It builds awareness around the toy. So even if that parent doesn't get guilty for not buying it, it's in their mind, oh, hey, maybe Jimmy or Brian or whatever the kid's name may want this toy. And so it is now in their psyche, it's in front of them, because Toys R Us has the budget to spend. Mm-hmm. And the great thing is Toys R Us now has them in their audience to market to later. So if they see that these people are buying the Spider-Man toy,
Yeah.
guess what? When the next one comes out, guess who sees the ads again? The same exact people.
So let's go deeper into that, because we're talking a little bit specifically about, well, in essence, targeting. So I'm a parent and I am shopping for my kid, and I see this Spider-Man ad, and I'm like, why did I see this? It's perfect that I saw it, but why did I see this? It doesn't make any sense. Let's go into the magic of why people see certain things. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but let's go a little bit deeper. Why does the average user on, or pretty much any social network, see what we call relevant content?
Well, think of it this way. When a person like me eventually sees an ad for basketball season, let's say I like something from the NBA.
Let's say you like the Heat.
Because I love the Heat, right? And so let's say I like something from the NBA, just the National Basketball Association itself.
Right.
So I like something of theirs. And now Facebook puts me in a database saying, oh, he likes the NBA, so he must like basketball. Right? So now that I'm in this pool of interest, they are now able to, the advertiser, pull this information and say, oh, I want to target everyone who likes the NBA or likes basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, because I liked something relating to that subject, the advertiser can then their message to someone like me on my newsfeed or on my mobile phone because of that one like. And so everything you like, comment, share on within the Facebook ecosystem, you're put into these little subsegments of interest. So the advertiser can show their message at any point, any time of the day, however they want, all because of that one little click of a button.
So if I could break it down to simpler terms, we're pretty much telling Facebook about us on an intimate level.
Yeah. And it's not just about comments and shares either. Some of the things you type, and we all know this because no one really reads the Facebook terms of service, but every time you type something on that network, you submit something, every conversation you have, that's just intelligence for them. You know, if I'm typing something to you, Tim, and I'm like, wow, I really like this album. Well, guess what? If I mention the name of the album and I link to it, Facebook's aware of that.
Yep.
So the next time this artist decides to advertise something about his new music video or whatever it may be, I'm in that pool. I'm in that group of people who's going to see the ad because I talked about this person. Even if I've never liked something of his on his fan page, I'm still going to see his ad. And so for anyone who ever goes on their phone, try this out. Type something in your messenger to somebody. Be like, I really love this cell phone. Let's say it's an iPhone. Sometime in the next hour, you will see an ad for the iPhone. It's going to happen because you've now initiated that conversation.
Interesting. With that, let's take us a really quick break, and we'll get into some more technical stuff in the next part. You're listening to WERA's The Swift Kick Show.
The conversation doesn't end here. We'd love to hear from you so we can better provide you more great content and some fun stuff. To learn more, go to www.facebook.com/Swift Kick Show. Look forward to being friends.
Welcome back to the Swift Kick Show here on WERA 96.7 FM. I am Timothy D. Craighead here with David Schloss. Now, we talked a little bit about this whole thing of collecting information that we are willingly giving to Facebook on a daily basis. And as a business, we use that system in order to increase business. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So as a marketer, as an advertiser, are we able to use all of this intelligence that Facebook is collecting in order to get our products and services out to the people?
Right. Look at it this way, right? So Facebook has this data bank. They have all this information for you. And as someone like myself, who let's say wants to sell a t-shirt, right? Really what you're looking at is the availability of different avatars or personalities of people in order to sell your items. They make it easy for you. The hard part really is determining which audience is going to buy. which one's going to click on your ad.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many variations of something on Facebook. Oh, I like t-shirts. What kind of t-shirts? Are they soft? Are they made of certain material? Do they have a superhero on it? Does it have a logo from some company? There's so many options that's the part that's difficult. It's not whether or not you can run an ad and find a buyer. It's at what point interest or behavior do you eventually get that buyer?
And there's a certain type of, we won't say algorithm, but there's a certain type of systematic approach that seems to work best in figuring out who you're actually trying to target. Is there a simple way that someone who's never done this before can kind of figure out how they can find seemingly what would be their perfect audience?
Yeah, so, the best way to start is actually start broad. So starting broad meaning you have this large pool of people interested in a certain subject. And I know most people who are advertisers or just conventional marketers will say, oh, start niche, start super small.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. I've also found in running advertising on Facebook over the last 5 years now is that when you start broad, very large sample size, you get the need to know whether or not something's working immediately. You just find out within 24 to 48 hours whether or not something's interesting to people. One thing to target Spider-Man as a collective, but then there's another to target Spider-Man just the movie, Spider-Man the comic book,
right?
Spider-Man the figure. There's a difference. And so by just going after the entire term of Spider-Man, you know whether or not the collective audience is interested in your item. But then you part at what age or what gender or do they speak a certain language. You get all that information so you're able to dive deeper and then create that smaller audience you need to eventually buy something from you.
Now, is that something that someone really can do? That's I mean, it sounds complicated, but you're making it kind of seem you've been doing this for a really long time. Can someone who's never done this before actually create something and place an ad and see if they can get some traction from it?
Yes. So Facebook makes it easy for anyone to start, right? They make it very easy for you to create an ad or an ad account that you need in order to create that ad. Because the minute you sign up for an account on Facebook, you're given an ad account. They want you to spend money. So if you're looking to put $5, $10, $20 into an idea, Facebook allows you to do that. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars. You only need $5. So if you have a shirt concept, and I mention shirts a lot because apparel companies are the ones who are jumping onto Facebook, selling some sort of merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And so testing out a design, testing out shorts, t-shirts, necklaces, watches, anything that someone could buy. Facebook's one of those places you want to test out because it only requires $5 to see whether or not they're interested. So it's very easy for someone like you or me to jump on and see if it works out.
Interesting. So let's talk a little bit about some tools. What are some of the things that someone can use in order to create an ad that they can use on Facebook?
Just in terms of like software tools or anything like that?
Yeah, anything you could think of.
Yeah. Sure. So for a lot of people who want to, I'll just say, take their game to the next level, if they just use the proprietary stuff that Facebook provides, because that could still be very confusing. Don't get me wrong. When you jump in the Facebook world, you see all these buttons and things, and you're like, I have no idea what's going on here. This is confusing. But there's a tool, for example, called Adspresso. Adspresso is a very simple tool that you use to jump right in and create your first ad. And it doesn't cost money. It's like a small monthly fee, but it walks you through every single step to create your first ad in better instruction than what Facebook gives to you. So you get this software, you plug in the information, lo and behold, it your account, and bam, your ad's out within 5 minutes. Whereas if you try to do this in Facebook, many of you, including myself when I started, it took me 3 minutes to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I got started using Facebook ads, it was like a college course because everything was kind of new and fresh, and and they were figuring out what we were trying to figure out while they were trying to figure it out. So now things have kind of gotten simpler, but it's nowhere near as simple as that, to where there's a process in place where all you got to do is just do plug and play. Now, let's go into a little bit of some of the pros and cons, because a lot of people hear about the success and such in using a social ad network, but there's definitely a yin and a yang to it. So let's explore that. So what are some of let's think of one success and one failure for you in the whole thing of working with businesses and working with Facebook ads. What's been one story you can share on each side?
Sure. So in terms of like a success, for example, a success being, let's say, a digital publisher, right? I just helped someone launch their course on Facebook and launch it in a way where it's new customers, it's new everything, people they've never advertised to before. So we were able to take their product from concept to being completely done and launched on Facebook. And within 30 days, they garnered 400 new students into their program, and their program was a $500 program.
$500, right? You said?
$500 sale.
Wow. Okay.
And 400 people joined. Okay. And that's over the course of 30 days.
Right.
This doesn't include people who subscribe to their email list. This doesn't include visitors to their site. That's just the revenue, right? But they also had their ad account aged, meaning that now Facebook sees this. They're like, wow, they've spent some money. They've really advertise content people want on the platform. That's important. They have all these visitors. They have all this information that now they can reuse for future projects. Mm-hmm. Great success, 30 days. Now, does everyone have that type of success? Absolutely not.
That's cool. So let's wrap on this, because of course, guys, there's the extra. If you want to go to iTunes and Stitcher to hear more of what we have to talk about, we can only do so much on the show. So if there's one piece of advice that you could give to anyone wanting to get started on Facebook ads, what would it be?
Start small, but start, right? So start at, let's just say $10 a day. The rule of thumb is you need to start with something. Don't be afraid to put money into your business or put money into you, because you never know what it could lead to in the future.
Exactly. I like that.
So get started. Actually, you could even start with $5 a day. I humbly suggest 10. Dedicate the time to learn the platform and just spend a little money, because you never know what's going to happen when you put an ad out there.
Very cool. Thank you so very much for being on the Swift Kick Show, David. I really do appreciate you being here.
No problem. Appreciate you.
And we're going to take ourselves a really, really quick break. You're listening to the Swift Kick Show on WERA.
Shows like this need your help to continue broadcasting through radio for the Arlington, Virginia community and online. Donations from listeners like you help create great programming to enrich the mind and spirit. To help WERA 96.7 and its commitment to promote community-based radio, please go to www.wera.fm and click on the donate button. Every little bit counts, so please kick in a little. Again, go to www.wera.fm. And now, for more of the Swift Kick Show with Timothy D. Craggett.
It's time for the last kick of the day. So I am really, really happy, David, I keep calling Dave, that you were on the show. Thank you so much, dude. As always, this is the time where I get to kind of bring everything full circle. So what you learned today was the power of spending a little bit of money to make more money. That's how advertising works. It's a matter of getting your product or service in the face of as many people that want or need what you have, and being able to, of course, price it in a way where you pays for your marketing and your advertising, and you also can cut a profit. And David did a great job of talking about, just the basics of what you can do just to get started using this platform. But there's so much more that we have to talk about, and make sure that you go and you check out the extra on iTunes and Stitcher. But for more information with David, don't forget it's www.swiftkickshow.com/David. I'm super stoked for what's happening in the next coming weeks as far as 2017. I'm excited to hear what you guys are doing. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and find myself some eggnog. I cheers to you and yours. May you have a great December 25th. This is the Swift Kick Show.
You've been listening to the Swift Kick Show with Timothy D. Craggett. For more information and bonus content, go to www.swiftkickshow.com. Tune in next week for another kick.
Welcome back. This is the extra exclusively to iTunes and Stitcher here for the Swift Kick Show. I am Timothy D. Craigett with my guest David Schloss. If you didn't get a chance to hear the whole first part of the show, make sure you check out the archive. Now we can get into some really deep stuff here, talking about Facebook ads. So Dave, let's go into like some tangible, actionable items that someone can do when they go into this whole thing of being a Facebook advertiser. Let's start with the creative. What things do you look at when it comes to the imagery or the video for a particular ad? What are your like hot spots?
So for imagery, it's really just having something that's relevant to what you're saying in the ad.
What does that mean?
Meaning, let's say the ad copy, the text that goes along with that image that's above it in Facebook is talking about selling advertising services. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the results someone can get if they were to work with me. I don't need to put up a picture of myself or something relating to my business logo, because that's not going to get attention from people. Mm-hmm. What will get attention from people is a graph of revenue increasing for a business that I just helped with their advertising, or something where they could see the profit loss from a campaign, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for results because it's relevant to the campaign. Mm-hmm. So another example, selling a t-shirt, they want to see 5 different colors for that shirt. They want to see the variations of what it would look like. They want to see what it would look like on a model, a man, a woman. So it's having different variety of ways to show it to people, but relevant to what you're talking about.
So
make sense?
It does. Let's explore that a little bit when you're saying it has to be relevant to what you're talking about in an ad. So there's a makeup of an ad, which is the image, and then there's the headline, then there's the body copy. There may be a link that you click out to, depending on how you prepare your ad, all of those things. So how does that all come together for what would be a ad that someone will want to click on?
So there's an order at which you must focus on each of these areas for the ad. Most people look at the image first, right? Okay. The image is what people see first. Then it's the headline, which is right below the image. And then the body copy is above it. Those are the core 3 things people look at. But the image is what they look at first. So when I mention relevancy to what is being talked about in both the headline and the ad copy or the body copy above, it's really just, can someone read the headline and understand what's going on in the image? It has to be relevant. Because if I put up a picture of me and in the headline it says buy a t-shirt and there's no mention of a t-shirt, that makes no sense.
Right.
People are not going to buy. They're not even going to click. They'll just skip. So what you put in your headline or even in your image, it must match across the board. It must be discussed in the body copy. It must be showcased in the image. And there needs to be something in the headline that gets people to want to click the image. Mm-hmm. And so it's all relevant from top to bottom.
Makes sense. So let's go into kind of a breakdown to kind of further hammer the point. So let's say we were marketing Apple computers. Let's say it was the latest MacBook Pro.
Yep.
And we have an image of a MacBook Pro that has, the latest features or whatever they might use. Let's say we were a retailer that actually sells these machines, and we want to have a headline that that embodies that image. What kind of things would we want to say if we were trying to sell that particular product?
So with a MacBook Pro, say they want to focus on the feature of how slim the MacBook is.
Okay.
Right? Because surprisingly, at least from what I've seen, yeah, processing speed is cool. Yeah, big screen is cool and how crisp it looks. But what can you really deliver in an ad that people can notice? How thin that computer is, right? Just like when the first MacBook Air came out and they showcased how small and thin it is, height and width-wise, people were blown away.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, wow, that's super thin and light. That must be incredible. So imagine if they applied that to the MacBook Pro, which is typically larger than the MacBook Air, right?
Right.
But now, casing that it's thinner. So you have an image of the MacBook opened up in sort of like I'll just put it like a triangle shape, right? And it's showcasing how thin everything is from across the board, whether it's open, closed, and it could be a video of just the MacBook Pro spinning around in different ways, showcasing how thin this thing is. They could even have stills from this video put onto the ad just to showcase this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they have this imagery, they have this video. What is the headline going to be? It could be anything from, new and improved, thinner than ever. It could be something so simple because it's pointing out what's in the ad. And people know it's Apple because it says Apple when they put up the ad, it's going to say Apple, right? They're going to know who the company is. Point is that out in the headline what is being showcased in the image.
Right.
And then the copy of that, which is the body copy, is going to explain how much thinner the MacBook Pro is compared to last year or, the previous generation.
Right.
How the battery life is stronger.
Right.
How the Retina display is better. They're going to just blow you away with the features and benefits. But the core thing people see is how thin it is. And so the headline needs to match that.
Right. So just kind of reiterating it all. With the image and or the video, which way you go as far as an ad goes, the main thing is to get somebody to stop in their tracks, which is the image or the video. The thing that's going to keep them there, that sells the click per se, is going to be what you describe in your headline, which is supposed to be like the big reveal or open for that ad, and then the body copy or the text that's in the ad is supporting the headline. Is that right? Yep.
You could look at the headline as sort of the hook, right? The picture stops you. The headline's the hook, so now you're not going anywhere.
Right.
And then the body copy is reinforcing or intriguing you as to what is on the other side, right? So they're telling you, here's all the amazing stuff, but if you want to read more, you need to click on the image so you can read about all the amazingness of this MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. So let's move more into the technical stuff. Let's go into what it actually takes to run an ad campaign. Now, there's many people that are listening here on the Swift Kick Show that are, interested in building something or creating something that they're going to use for business. Now, being that you've been online since 2007, you've seen a lot of shifts and moves in the way social is done. It's not the way it was back in 2007. So keeping things relevant is a really, really big key in order to be successful, especially with ads. So my question for you is, how does someone convey that relevancy in their ad if they've never done it before? Because there has to be a logic to it. We can kind of talk about it on a top level, but let's go a little bit deeper. How does someone get into the psychological parts of creating an effective ad?
Well, look at it this way. We can go really, really deep into writing the best copy you possibly can and creating the best image you've ever created in your life. But when you're starting out and doing this for the first time, the main things you got to focus on is what is the benefit behind what you're selling to people, right? Because you could showcase this in an image and showcase this in that's the bare bones. Let me get started. I'm a beginner or a newbie. What do I do first? Focus on the benefit of what you're selling. Okay? Look at it from your standpoint. Why would you buy something? You want to know how this is going to help you in your life.
Right.
So, for example, if I'm going to buy a MacBook Pro, or maybe Apple's doing the first Facebook ad ever, right? And they're selling this MacBook Pro. If all they did was tell me this MacBook Pro has 15 hours of battery life, it'll allow you to not have to worry about if you ever lose or leave your charger at your house when you go to a meeting. I'm a business person. So to know that I could leave my charger at home, go do stuff, and come back and still have battery life is going to intrigue me enough to click that ad. Because all they did was focus on that one benefit.
Right.
This has enough battery life to last the whole day. Wow, that's awesome. I want that. So apply that to a person who's selling their own product for the first time.
Right.
Creating an ad on Facebook. What's the one benefit that a broader audience or a larger audience can connect to that would make them to want to click on the ad? One benefit. That's all it is. Just one. Is it saving time? Is it making more money? Is it improving their health? Those are usually the main things people look for. Time, health, wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a t-shirt, really you're looking at comfort. Is it comfortable? Does it make you look slim? Does it make you look like you're having a good time? Like, what's the purpose of that shirt, right? What's the benefit? So just focus on that one thing that someone else can connect to that you would also click on and make that into your ad. Don't have to complicate it.
Interesting. So I'm a little intrigued by that because thinking about it as a consumer, there have been many ads that I've clicked on where I've basically just had that one question answered, and then all of a sudden I click on it and it takes me somewhere where they're answering a whole bunch more questions of things that I probably didn't even think about. Is there a way for someone to kind of get that type of insight on their potential customer or client before they place their ad?
Well, with the audience insight that Facebook provides to you, that tool that they give you in order to do market research, there's not going to be someone that says like, hey, these people are looking more about battery life than they are screen size, right?
Right.
But what you can do is, you want to place an ad and be strategic with it. But imagine this. I told you to start with one benefit because maybe your budget's $10 a day, right? So within a day or two whether or not that benefit is generating the clicks that you want to your site. Mm-hmm. If it's not working, you just simply change the benefit to something else. But most advertisers will start with one image or 3 images. If they start with 3 images, they typically use the same copy, but they're testing out the image. They're trying to see which one gets the attention.
Right.
And then there's other advertisers who try 3 pieces of copy, body copy, and 1 image, because they're really trying to find that one thing that's getting people to stop and read. In most people's cases, they're going to just want to try 1 image, but maybe their time or their money is limited, so they just want to focus on 1 image.
Right.
And if that's the case, you need to try out 2, 3, 4 different pieces of body copy. So what will happen? You'll have 4 ads, same image, all the body copy is different. And let's say you apply $10 to each of them. That's how you're going to know whether or not people align or understand that benefit that you showcase to them. Mm-hmm. Right? So MacBook Pro example, 4 different benefits: battery life, screen size, RAM processing, and I don't know, accessories, right?
Right.
You throw up all 4, and then you see which ones people click on. And let's say battery life happens to be the best one. You turn off the other 3, and you focus on battery life. The rest of your campaign is on battery life. Your testimonials are from people saying, man, the battery life is awesome. Like, the whole thing's about battery, because that's the one that got the attention. That's the one that's converting. So that's how even the beginner or the newbie in the advertising world
Yep.
can start. Just try out different benefits until you find the one that people go, wow, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Right. That's cool. So let's talk a little bit more about the process. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go on a different route. Let's go on the consumer side of things. Let's go on what the customer experience is. So, do you find that there's more success in your ad being displayed on desktop, on mobile, or any other way that an ad is displayed, or does it depend on certain circumstances?
It will depend on certain circumstances, but understand that more than 80% of the people on Facebook these days is also viewing Facebook on a phone.
Right.
Right. And so if you only displayed your ad on desktop, even if your generation of audience is, let's say, 55 and over, many of those people also have the Facebook app. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So only going at desktop, you might only reach 25% of your audience. And so I always try finding out which, they call it a placement, which placement is going to deliver me the best lead flow or the best clicks or whatever it may be.
Right.
Right. And so in this case, I'll try mobile and desktop together. Sometimes I'll try them separately just to see which one gets the best result. But I also test Instagram because Instagram is a massively growing network that's automatically connected to Facebook. So I test all three.
Can't help but hearing
really,
Blake in the back. So I guess Blake has something to add to it too.
I had to, yeah. Blake's a character. But essentially it's there's three placements.
Yeah.
And I focus on those three all the time. Because I might sell a t-shirt better on Instagram than I do on Facebook.
Right.
And the only way to know is to put that t-shirt also on Instagram while the other two placements are running and seeing how it performs.
Very cool. That is cool. So is there any advice that you think was missing that we hadn't covered that someone could benefit from with the whole thing with Facebook ads?
Yes. So outside of just testing placements,
yeah,
I always tell people, look at the age group that is interacting with your advertising the most.
Okay, what does that mean?
A lot of people start with 25 and over as the age groups to target because typically you see more people buying stuff at the age of 25 or more, at least from my experience. Right? In other industries, it might be different. But I don't ever see a bunch of college kids between 18 to 24 buying a bunch of stuff. Usually they're saving their money, right? Or blowing it on other stuff.
Right.
And so 25 and over seems to be the starting point. But if you're selling real estate training, you're not going to get a lot of sales between the ages of 25 to 29. But you don't know until you start, right? So you might create your ads and you'll target 25 to 65 plus. That's the way it looks in Facebook. I'll say 25 to 65 plus. And you run it for a week and then you realize, like, wow, everyone who's signing up for my stuff is like 40 years old and over. You go inside your account, you look at the report, lo and behold, 40 and over. Those are the ones clicking on your stuff. So you can adjust your advertising to the results you're obtaining in the back end, right? So what you're seeing from people who are signing up for your email list or buying your product. So it's always a good idea to test age ranges. So what I do, and I follow the Facebook report, which is it's set up this way: 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, and so on and so forth. It's basically 10-year increments.
Right.
But it's set up in that way, and that's how it looks in Facebook. So when you set up a campaign to target 45 to 54, the report will show you the accurate data for 45 to 54 because that's the way it's set up. So now you're able to create campaigns and optimize them specifically for these ages and get the best result possible without blanketing the whole space and thinking, I don't know who's doing the best for me. I don't know what's going on. Split them up and find out what happens. And by the way, when you split by age, you could also split by placement. So now you're doing 45 to 44 and splitting it by desktop and mobile and Instagram. I mean, you can get really deep with this until you find the exact place and age and location of the person who's buying whatever it is you're selling.
Interesting. Very cool. So again, make sure if you want to get more information, go to www.swiftkickshow.com/David. I'm excited that you were able to sell all this stuff, to share all this and all that. It's always a good time having you on. I got to have you back on in the future so we could talk some more stuff. David, thank you for being on the show, dude.
Not a problem. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be on.
Hey, no, it's all on me, man. It's all on me. So guys, make sure you tune in on Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. for the live show. With that, this is the Swift Kick Show. I'm Timothy D. Craigat, and I will check you next time.